Hey, I think we have action this time. Hello, beloveds. How are you out there? My name is, for those who I'm assuming that many of you know me, probably some don't. My name is Kenton David Bell. I call myself a master healer, life coach, and I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient. I channel, medium, um, do a lot of transformational work over the years. I've been doing this for about 30 years now. I got myself it started me with a spontaneous Kundalini awakening in 1997 while making love to my girlfriend at the time. When I climaxed, I blacked out and saw lightning shoot up my spine. And the next day, I was full blown clairvoyant and psychic. Things were coming through where weren't coming from the brain, but coming directly through me out my mouth. And they would be proven to be true within 24, 48 hours usually. And it was very abrupt, very kind of scary even at times. And Kundalini energy is probably the most powerful transformational energy on the planet at this time. It resides at the base of the spine in everybody. And it's what yogis do for years or even lifetimes to bring up. And the idea is that it clears the physical body as well as the energetic bodies, and to house a higher level of spiritual energy. So I don't know if people are here. We had a misfire last week. If you're here, you have the ability to chat and ask questions. This is going to be an ongoing series on Sundays, and we're going to kind of build on each other. So, meaning that I'm going to go over some basics this time. And for those who are not here, they always can refer back to this video to learn some of the basics that we're building on. And this is about supporting people, you, in this time of great shift upon the planet, the ascension of the planet, and the people in all species here as well. There's a lot of chaos out in the world right now, and that's because of the change happening. And we're going to talk about that as well. One of the main pillars and foundational pieces of this is helping people like you getting more in touch with their energetic bodies and how to open up to the new dynamics of these energy bodies that are important at this time. So, anyhow, we're going to build. Today, we're going to talk about kind of the basic movements of ascension. And we have 7 energy bodies that correlate with the 7 main chakras. At times, we'll be going above the 7 chakras, the crown chakra as well, into the higher chakras. But for today, we're going to stay within the 7 chakra paradigm. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chakras. And there's 7 layers or energy bodies that correspond with those chakras. When I say energy bodies, a lot of times people think that those are actually separate bodies. However, what they are is just different frequencies that separate the different layers of the chakras and truly levels of consciousness as well that we evolve through. So, for instance, we've been living in the 3rd dimension for thousands of years, really, up to this point. And now that's beginning to change. And our relationship to the 3rd dimension is changing as well. For some people, like myself, it's literally falling away. Some people will remain in the 3rd dimension through this lifetime. And as they do, you might find them slipping away outside of your life, almost as though they're disappearing. And they could be people that are just acquaintances. They could be people that you've been very close to, as well as family, friends, all kinds of situations like that are changing for people all across the planet at this time. One of the main things that people are facing right now has a lot to do with fear. And there's a lot of fear mongering on the planet as well, I believe. We won't be talking about the fear so much. We will be talking how to address it. And most of that happens in the astral body, the astral plane. And this is the fourth dimension. And in the fourth dimension, you learn how to overcome fear and choose love over that, and unconditional love, actually. And it helps move you through the fourth dimension into a fifth dimensional experience for those who are here to move into that greater experience at this time. So what's needed really is a new way for humanity to look at their relationship to the world at large. And that's what I'm going to first talk about in the first segment of today's live stream. So, for the purpose of this talk, and really going forward, probably for many of us in this lifetime, is the idea of working with three dimensions: the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So the third dimension is the dimension and the world we experience when we're born into this reality. And in this reality, we see things outside of us. The world is separate than us, and we see things happening to us. So we don't see ourselves as a co-creator of the experience. And even in the third dimension, we see God as something outside of us. We see, when we reach for what I call power in the third dimension, we're actually usually reaching for force. And so something comes at us, and then we get kind of geared up and we push back against it if it's something that's not wanted. If it's something that's wanted that we're going for, it's something that we feel like we have to forcefully go out and get. Third dimension is more thinking such as I, me, mine versus the we, which you experience more in the fourth dimension. And it changes in the fifth. We'll get to that. I'm trying to think of some other examples. The idea is it's a very limited experience. And for thousands of years, most of us lived in this space, the third dimension. Now we're moving into the fourth dimension collectively. There's a lot of the people on the planet moving into a fourth dimensional experience. And many say that the planet is already in a fourth dimensional reality. And I think that's true, not to say that the third dimension isn't here. Some people say the third dimension is completely gone. I don't think that that's true. I think there's a lot of individuals who are choosing to continue to live in the third dimension. Either they're just, not ready to move up, and there's nothing right or wrong about this. There's nothing better because you're moving up into the higher dimensions, by the way. And if you think that you're superior for that reason, you're off. Okay, if you feel like you're blessed and feel lucky, then that's more of an accurate attitude and probably more of an authentic experience as well. Whenever the ego gets in here on this journey, which it will at times for sure, and it's telling you that you're better or more advanced than another, look out. That's a spiritual trap for sure. So keeping that in mind, okay? The third dimension too, once again, okay, when you reach for power, you're reaching for force. Now, people will, in the day and age we're in, people will outgrow that pretty quickly, saying there's got to be something more. This just kind of feels like a dead end, and it is a dead end. And all the healing modalities or coaching modalities that are based in the third dimensional space are really a dead end. They don't go anywhere really, as well as science too. So it's everything that's created in the third dimension, for the most part, becomes a dead end while you're in the third dimension. And most of those tools that maybe you developed in the third dimension don't translate to the fourth, and for sure don't into the fifth dimension. So these are all little tips that I've learned and other people like me to help save you a lot of time, energy, and frustration, I would say. So when we get tired of doing it on our own in the third dimension, we begin to reach for something new. And usually what that is a community. We start to think, well, I want to do this with somebody else, with others. I want to work with others as opposed to just working with myself. So then we move into a fourth dimensional experience, usually. And there's many levels in a fourth dimensional space. This is also the astral plane. And right away, I'll tell you that the healing key for the astral plane is learning, mastering, developing, mastering, um, unconditional love for all others, and complete acceptance of what is. And that's what moves you through the astral plane more smoothly. As a healer, and somebody who's been doing this for a long time, you must practice unconditional love for all beings and complete acceptance of what is in order to navigate with others, your clients, through these energies. Now, the fourth dimension, astral plane, is also where most of the healing for the planet needs to take place. And we're in that thickness, we're in the weeds there right now, big time, I would say. Just turn on your media, your local news or national world news, and you'll see it everywhere, really, if you know what to look for. And fear is the killer in the astral plane. When you're in a place of fear, you become stuck. I always liken the astral as kind of like quicksand. When you get caught in quicksand, and I mean, I've never been caught in it, but I've seen the movies where you get caught in the quicksand and you struggle and you can't get out. But when you relax, you can start to pull yourself out. Kind of a similar idea theory with the astral plane. And it's unconditional love and complete acceptance that allows us to begin to move through the astral plane. Now, and that's the fourth dimension. Most people have wounds. I think everybody does, really. Wounds, this life trauma, past life trauma, that are stored in the astral plane. Now, this is really important. I've done a lot of work with myself and clients over the decades in the astral body of the individual. This correlates with the person's heart center, the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. Most of us are limited in this lifetime from past lifetime experiences that haven't cleared yet. And once again, I've dealt with this thousands of times now, many times in my own journey, and I'll use an example. I always hit a ceiling before I was doing the healing work. I wanted to be an actor, and I was a method trained actor. And I would hit a ceiling, like going on auditions at times, or even in my training. And it's kind of hard to say, explain the exact feeling, but it was like an invisible wall there. And eventually I cleared some stuff from past life traumas in my astral body that then allowed me to transcend that much later on. But I think if we learned as a society, as a species, that this is the place that needs a lot of attention, this is where all wars and conflicts are created from the misunderstanding of the astral plane. I've heard that said by, I can't remember who said that, but by a healer I revere very much. And I believe that to be very true as well. So if there's conflict in your life, if there's patterns that are holding you back, if you keep, for instance, changing jobs, but the scenario is the same, and you feel like you can't get past a certain wall or a certain ceiling, most often the answer is probably stored in the astral body. And in there, the wounds are often compartmentalized. So they're actually almost like I liken it to a peanut M&M candy. And you have the peanut inside. That would be the core issue in this case. Then you have another layer, the chocolate. And that's usually a layer to get through too. And then the shell around it. That's usually a defense mechanism. So, when you get triggered, often that's a defense mechanism. Often that is a wound of some sort in the astral body. And it's once again encapsulated. It's almost the same way a body will, you get a splinter and it doesn't come out. It's like deep under there. Maybe you don't even know you have it, but the body will build a protective barrier around it to isolate it. It's very similar to the astral body and the wounds you hold there. I can't stress this enough. If you are feeling like you're held back, that's a really important place to look. Okay. See, other characteristics of the fourth dimension are it's a communal. It's a we instead of I. In the third dimension, it is I. It's an individuated state. In the fourth, it is collective, meaning you give up the needs of the individual for the needs of the community, for the masses. In the fifth dimensional space, it's back to an I. We're individuated again. But we've also transcended the third and fourth. Now, the key is we kind of live in all of these simultaneously. But at any given time, our cosmic address, or the lens in which we see the world through, tends to be usually in one. As you start to clear these layers, and depending on the individual, some will start to have a lens that is maybe 2 or 3 of these dimensional spaces simultaneously. But that usually happens a little further down the road after you cleared significantly different things out of your field and your being, depending on your soul's level or what your soul's here to learn. Not as though one soul is greater or better than the other, even if it is a so-called old soul. Let's see what else is in there. Now, in the fourth dimension, it becomes also very tribal. People get into their little niches with each other, and you'll form your little communities. I've lived off and on in Sedona here for 20 plus years, and I don't see it much anymore, but I used to. About 20 years ago, up to about 10 years ago, they're probably still here. I just don't see them. Is little groups that would be kind of off-grid communities. And they would say, "Oh, we don't need the establishment anymore. We're unplugged. We're off grid." And that's a real typical fourth dimensional perspective. Now, I understand why people do that. It's a choice. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong choice, but I don't believe it's not a choice for me. And what they're doing is that they're seeing that there's something wrong with the rest of the world. There's nothing wrong with anybody, really. We're all here just growing. It's like a school. As a matter of fact, I think it's a school to learn about power, our own power, mastery of self. So when they do that, they isolate, and then everything else is wrong. Now, that's a tribal idea. They protect the tribe against really any outside ideas that they deem threatening, and anything that doesn't think like them, they deem threatening. And families are like this a lot. I have a family like that I come from as well. And if you start to grow beyond the family, they find it threatening. If you do that, in certain places of work, they find it threatening. If you express yourself like that too in public, certain groups can find you threatening. You follow what I'm saying, I think. So the healing key for the astral is unconditional love and complete acceptance of what is. When you learn these tenets, these keys to mastery, it's amazing what begins to happen. Now, this goes beyond the intellect. This goes beyond basic psychology. Most of us are living in a psychological mindset, kind of a Judeo-Christian psychological mindset. And these mindsets are very limited in your ascension process. Okay. Now, when one has gone through the fourth dimensional experience, or is it in it, and you can be in simultaneous experiences at the same time. So you can be in the third and the fourth, but as you go up, you're going to start to, let's say you go into the fifth dimension, it's really hard to remain in the third dimension. Then you've, it's like, it's like going back to third grade when you're in fifth grade. It's very similar, really. You kind of see beyond it. Even if you want to, it's hard to get traction there anymore. So this is what's happening kind of in a nutshell, in a very generalized, very basic way on the planet at this time. Now, excuse me. When you move into a fifth dimensional experience, often the tribe that you're in the fourth dimension, whether it's a community of your choosing, family, work, combination of all the above, usually you almost have to individuate yourself. One of the exiting signature energies is anger, because you almost need some anger. Not doesn't mean you have to express it outwardly, but it's almost like a rocket fuel to separate you from the collective. Usually it begins with a frustration. You're in a communal group, and you feel like you've been there, done it after a while, and you feel like you've gotten everything out of it that you could. And you want something new, but you don't know what it is. So you decide, hey, I have to go out, on my own and figure out what's going on. And a lot of people, I think, are feeling that in this day and age right now. And in ways, you have to almost get angry. How many people do you know who are angry about what's going on in the collective? The government's in the collective. Okay. And it's that anger that actually can propel you into the fifth dimension, or it can also drop you back into the third dimension. So it can be a bit of a trap, but the anger itself is almost like rocket fuel to get you out. How you express it determines where you end up in that equation, really. So use the anger, but use the anger productively, or the frustration, maybe, that propels you into the fifth dimension. Now, in the fifth dimensional experience, we start to have the experience that we are part of God, that God's not really outside of us. People can have various experiences in that statement. Some people will feel like they're very much a part of God, and God is very much a part of them. Some people will experience it more like, oh, when I'm doing this or that, I have that sense of God and I as one, or that I'm co-creating with God. And usually the understanding of co-creation with God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, comes from the fifth dimensional experience. Okay. You can't really have that experience in the third dimension. In the third dimensional experience, God, source, universe is outside of you. In the fifth, you start to realize it's part of you, not only part of you, but you also start to see you have authorship over your reality. Meaning, when you have certain thoughts, you notice that they begin to manifest. That happens here in my household all the time. Okay. Like it's amazing how often that happens daily, many, many times a day. And I'm not going to go into the details or the examples of that right now, because I don't want to make it about me. It's about you guys. It's not about me. And when you have your own experiences there. And so as we go forward here in this journey that we're embarking on, my life has changed a lot, especially this last 2 years. I had, some of you know this, some of you don't, but I had skin cancer. And this first mark on my face here, you can't really see with the glasses on, there's a scar, was that was deep and it's very serious surgery. And then I've also had 6 other procedures that were less serious, but still it's cancer. And had me really, things like this have you turn inward and you really begin to question things, who you are and who you are out in the world, what you're doing, and you literally grow through it. I've had many clients over the years, mostly women with breast cancer, who talked about the gift of breast cancer. And at first I was like, what? How could breast cancer be a gift? But it really turns you inward. You search, you look for answers, and many of them, you know, uh, say that they've grown tremendously through it. And I can honestly say, well, I've not had breast cancer. This was very much on my face and affected me a lot, my identity, I believe. And it was, over about a period, I think a little bit over 18 months of a procedure. So I was in and out of the doctor's office a lot. And the first one that was very intense, also later on developed it. There was an infection between that and some dental work that I had that really I thought was going to kill me more than the surgery, or the cancer itself. I had a terrible infection for about 5, 6 months and over 14 rounds of antibiotics. It was really, really, really bad. And I'm still recovering in a sense. My body is still recovering from all those antibiotics, I would say. Um, but I'm well. I feel great. I feel better than ever in most ways. And I'm really happy too. That's what's most important. I'm very happy. I feel a lot of joy in my life these days. Um, and so the work here is also about the soul. It's not just about, energy. It is about that, but it's about intelligent energy versus just energy itself. Over the years, I've coached a lot of people in law of attraction, a lot of entrepreneurs, still doing that. But my focus is shifting more to the energetic patterns within us and the soul itself. I'm working online now, building a YouTube channel. This is on my Soul Food and Fuel for Life channel. I also have another channel called Secrets to the Law of Attraction and Beyond. And I'm split a little bit which one I'm going to build more. I'm not going to continue to build both because it's too much energy. And listening to the pros out there, it's splitting your energy like that while building an online, presence is detrimental to building it. So I'm kind of torn which one's going to be. I'm leaning more towards Soul Food and Fuel for Life. It feels a little bit more like me. Now, the point I'm getting to is so many people out there are doing law of attraction, but also how to make money. And you look at our world, what we're in right now, and like everybody wants to be a billionaire, or everybody looks up to it. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And everybody wants more money. Money's great. Nothing's wrong with money. But when you put money over your own spiritual growth and your soul's well-being, or putting that on hold at least, I think there's a real problem. And in my opinion, on this planet, especially in our society, the apex of success is a very psychopathic um, design of a human being. Most CEO types have somewhat of a psychopathic nature, sociopathic, psychopathic. And if you really look and study, you'll see it around everywhere. Now, to a certain degree, some of that is kind of good and healthy, but I think that we've overdone it. So many pundits online are talking only about making money versus the true quality of life. And I don't mean just the quality of life that what money can buy you. Money can buy you a lot of freedom. And I've had lots of money at times. I've had little money at times. And honestly, a lot of money has never made me happier. I've had fun using it, but I wouldn't say it's made me happier. Makes life easier at times, but not happier. And on the other side of the coin, and I have many stories that demonstrate this, when I've had very little money, have been some of the best times of my life, but I'm not worried about it. And also some of the best growth I've had in my life. For instance, I really learned when I, especially looking back, there was a period of time, oh, it was right after, the early 2000s, right around that time, right after my awakening, really, and which was in 97, my awakening. And I had little money, no money at all. And I was following my spiritual path. And I was living in Northern California, and I had a deal where I lived in a nice trailer on a piece of property. A woman owned a big house there. It was in Windsor, Northern California. And in return, I did some yard work, and I grew up doing landscaping and stuff. So it was easy, and I actually enjoy it. I like working outside with plants and land and dirt. And I was super broke at the time. I would have, little money to go buy groceries, and I planned very meticulously what I would buy. And I go about every 3 days, 2, 3 days to the store. I wouldn't go and buy a whole bunch at once because I was very conscientious about it, thinking about it. And I'd have only, a small handful of items each trip. And before I decided what I was going to buy that trip, and I go, and almost everything that I wanted on my list was on sale. Not only was on sale, it was like at the end of the aisles, where they post the big weekly sales. I come back the next, not next week, but like in 2 or 3 days, and I'd have a different list of items. And these items now would be on sale at the ends of the aisle. And at the time, I didn't really think about it too much, except for, hey, this is, I'm lucky how these things show up. After some time went on, I thought, this isn't luck. Something else is going on here. And I started realizing that I was creating that reality where things were on sale to help me. I was creating that so I would get what I wanted without breaking the bank, without stressing too much. Now, think about that for a moment. And we all create. I'm a great creator. My numerology points to that. It's what I do when I'm working with people. I help people manifest their dreams. It's I've done this for years. I've made lots of money doing this because I'm very successful at it, and it's wonderful. But when the focus becomes on the money only and not the deeper growth, something gets way off. It becomes we start to atrophy. As we atrophy, we get more and more focused on the external, the money. But really, the money first came from internal alignment. So I see out in the world, there's a lot of that misalignment, a lot of the atrophy of who we really are. To get the big bucks, we'll do anything almost. And all these pundits online now talking about making money, how to become a millionaire. Well, that's great. You almost need to be a millionaire to live in this day and age, just to get by. But that's not what life is about. So what this work I'm doing is based on the soul and how we grow aspects of the soul that also reflect in the outer world our wealth and abundance. It goes way beyond money. For me, it's about freedom. So that's the vision here that we're going for. Okay. We're going to keep it to an hour today. And we're going to do a meditation here and a bit of an activation. We're going to do this every week on Sundays. So there'll be a new meditation, new activation. And these will be, they are recorded, so they'll be posted if you don't make it live. And you always can refer back. And there's a progression here. And that's important, I think. So what we're going to do next is activate the third, fourth, and fifth chakras to kind of open up and let you clear a little bit, okay? Some of the energies there, this is what I'm talking about. We're going up and down between the third, fourth, and fifth. Most people are in the ascension process that's occurring right now. Next time, we'll be getting into more of the chakras, but we're just kind of laying out a foundation right now. So if you're ready for a meditation, we got about 20 minutes left. I want you to go ahead and, hopefully you're sitting down. Don't do this while you're driving. Sitting down or laying down is fine too. And go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just pay attention to your breath. Here I am taking a breath in. Here I am letting a breath out. Here I am taking a breath in. Here I am letting a breath out. Let yourself get settled into your body. Here I am settling into my body. I'm calling upon my higher self to be my very best. That's what I like to say before a meditation. I'm calling upon myself to do my very best, to be my very best. I'm breathing that into the lungs, into the heart. And as you do so, just allow yourself to descend into the heart space. Just through intention, no struggle. Tell yourself, I'm allowing myself to drop into my heart space. I intend myself into the heart space. And so it is. And that just helps get us out of our head, out of the intellect, the egoic mind. And we'll be there when we come back. And put your hand on your upper abdomen, the solar plexus area, and a little bit below where the ribs split. And this is your third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. A very important, powerful chakra. It was also where your mental body ties in. But go ahead and put your hand there and even rub it a little bit in circles, making little clockwise circles, and see a bright golden yellow sunlight, like a sun disk itself, in that space. The more you're able to see the sunlight there, the more powerful it ignites and it activates. The solar plexus is one of our will centers, and it's also a center that's undergoing a massive change in our species right now. We're beginning to incorporate our source into the solar plexus. Up till recently, the solar plexus was our personal power. And in many ways, it still is. But now our personal power is joining with source. Up till recently, the three lower chakras were considered to be chakras that just were there to support life, and the upper chakras for our spiritual life. But now, spirit, we're bringing source down as a collective in our species to the third chakra. Let that come into your third chakra as we're talking. See a bright golden yellow disk of a sun. It's said that there's the power of 1,000 suns in the solar plexus. The solar plexus allows us to get things done on the earth plane in a powerful, easy way. If the solar plexus isn't strong, little small things in the world look like giant mountains. We stress over it. When our solar plexus is strong, mountains become little pebbles. Mountains become molehills, as opposed to molehills becoming mountains. This is a will center. As we incorporate divine source into the solar plexus, this is also the beginning of the ending of codependence on the planet. Codependency is on its way out for our species as we're evolving. Now, it might take 100 years or more still for that's gone before that's gone all the way. But why wait? Empower yourself now. The end of codependency. The brighter you see that yellow golden sun in the solar plexus, the more powerfully it becomes activated. You could do this daily. It will truly serve you. Somebody who's a real mover and shaker on the planet, getting things done, has a very powerful solar plexus. I think of Tony Robbins, life coach Tony Robbins. He has a very powerful solar plexus. Unleash the power. That's Tony. I've not done it, but I love Tony's energy personally. He's very real and very authentic for what he does, who he is. Let you be authentic for who you are. Feel your power. Activate your power in the solar plexus now. Let that really light up. Front and the back. The solar plexus also has a rear aspect in your back. It opens out to the back as well. See it both open up, front and back. Letting that beautiful golden sun radiate through both front and back of your solar plexus. Well, there's many other qualities in here. We're not going to go into them now. We'll go into them in the future. But allow that to open for now. Feel it getting brighter with each breath you take in. Exhaling anything that isn't working for you any longer. Places where you doubt yourself. Maybe where you struggle with self-confidence. This isn't where purpose sits, but this is where we activate our purpose out into the world often. Through our work, through our vocation, through our actions. We're going to let that keep opening, allowing that to keep expanding. That beautiful golden yellow light. By the way, one of my favorites here. If you have any pancreas or blood sugar issues, they can be fixed, healed, reversed through this practice. Many of your organs are in this area. So it's a very healthy, it'll keep your body healthy, young and vital by doing these exercises that we're bringing. I guarantee it. If you do them, you'll benefit. Now we're going to move up to the heart chakra. There's a difference between the heart space and the heart chakra. I work with people often in the heart space. But first, we're going to do the heart chakra. We're not going to do the heart space today. We'll do that probably in the next video next week. But the heart chakra sits right at the breastbone. For men and women, right at the breastbone. The heart chakra is green in color. I always think of it as kind of the same green that the Emerald City in the Wizard of Oz is, that green. You know, it's kind of a lime green, bright emerald green. For me, I always just think of the Emerald City. That's my touchstone when I'm going into the heart chakra. So see that green begin to open up. Green, green, green. This is our ability to give and receive love. Our ability to give and receive love. If it's pointing down, we become very melancholy, the chakra itself. And often in this day and age, with all the stress going on in the world, it's not unusual for somebody to have a chakra that maybe it's pointed downwards, or sometimes it'll go up and down. If it's pointing up too much, we're a little too Pollyanna. Like we see everything just through rose-colored glasses. And while that's nice, it might not be practical always in the world we live in. What we want is a balanced heart chakra. But don't worry if it's balanced or unbalanced today so much. We just want to begin to get in touch with it. So see that green, and you can even take a finger or two fingers like this and tap. Tap right on the breastbone where the heart chakra is. Allow that to open up. See the bright green. Many of you might feel something kind of release as you open it. And just listen to my words. Let the energy that's coming through begin to activate it for you. And in all these videos, if you're open to it, the energy of my voice carries the activations for most of this, even when I'm just talking. Be open to that. And let yourself benefit. So we allow the heart chakra, once again, there's a front and back aspect to it. So it's front and back between the shoulder blades and the back. But just get that beautiful green heart chakra energy running. Simultaneously, still being aware of the solar plexus as well. This also begins to teach you how to be multidimensional. When you begin to allow yourself to track 2 or 3 things at a time. Wait till you're able to be very multidimensional. You can feel all of your chakras, kind of experience them all at the same time. Wow. So letting that open, beautiful green, ability to give love and to receive love. And you know what? We'll learn more and more in the series. That's what it's really all about. Love versus fear. That's really what the whole journey here is about. And that's about power. Love is power. Fear is the absence of. Letting that open. I could feel it open in all of you more. Letting it open more and more. Beautiful green, emerald green, lime green. If it's a little darker, don't fret. It's okay. Some of you might sense some pink around that, and that's okay too. That would be the astral heart coming through. That, as I said, we'll do that next time. And now we're going to just allow that to keep opening, seeing the green. Sometimes you'll feel an ache there. You can take your finger, if you push on the breastbone with the tip of your finger, and if it feels kind of sore, it means it's kind of blocked probably. You can just rub on that gently to help open it up if you're having that experience. And just a little note, once again, not today, but going up from the heart chakra, there's about 6 other chakras going up the chest that are up to the collarbone, that are called heart chakra. They're lesser known heart chakras, but there's a whole series of heart chakras going up into what we call the high heart or the Christed heart at the top there. And we'll get into that as well some other time. But now we're going to go to the 5th chakra, which is the throat chakra. And this is sky blue in color. I'm looking out my window right here, and there's a beautiful blue sky. Beautiful Arizona blue sky. Just gorgeous today. It's like a robin egg blue. And there could be other colors in there. If there's yellow, that's usually a sign of too much analytical thinking in there. Sometimes there's silver or platinum in there. That's fine. But in general, it's blue. We allow that to activate. This is center of sound, vibration, frequency. This is where we speak into reality that which we desire. What I'm doing right now when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with all of you out there right now, even though I can't see you, I can feel you out there, and I am speaking with power in my voice. So it's not just speaking, but it's speaking with intention and power. We allow that to open both front and back of the 5th chakra. Allow that to open both front and back. And this is where we are. This is where we move into the fifth dimensional space, the throat chakra, and sound frequency vibration. These are when we get into what we call law of attraction, vibrational reality. We live in a vibrational reality, not an intellectual reality. It's vibrational. Usually the intellect will keep people stuck in a non-vibrational reality. Okay? We're moving beyond that here. So letting that open, and in the back of the fifth chakra is where divine will or higher will, whatever you want to call it, begins to come into the human experience. And it's through the back of the fifth chakra that we begin to weave our will, our personal will, with divine will, and what I call the dance of wills. And what happens is we begin to let go of our lower will and begin to weave and incorporate in higher will. It's great freedom in it. It might sound like you're losing something, but you're not. You're only gaining. And your personal will becomes higher will. It's a good way to live. So now we have these three chakras open and moving through you. So we go back to the third for a moment. See that bright golden yellow? Sometimes if you're really active in it, you might feel a little pain or tenderness, or even a little, depending on what you're holding there, you might even feel a little nauseous. That's a sign that you're actually doing it right. If you're feeling nauseous, keep going, but with love and gentleness, and asking the divine to help you. And in the heart chakra, beautiful emerald green, opening it up more and more, letting that beautiful emerald green stream through. I'll run that emerald green through my whole field at times. We'll talk about that later. You can just tell yourself, I want to run this emerald green love energy, heart chakra energy through my whole field. Let's do that right now while we're doing this. Green is one of the most healing energies. Yeah. Send it to anywhere you might feel pain in your body, or if you're experiencing health issues, send it towards whatever the issue might be. Even if it's just in your mind, not in the body. Send it the green light to what might be ailing you, mentally, physically, spiritually. And then the fifth chakra, let it open again, or bring your attention back to it. So you have all three kind of moving now, opening beyond where you were when we began. Let them balance. Just hold the intention they're going to kind of balance. And there's channels between the chakras. Just let those channels clear right now. Just listen to my voice. We're clearing the channels. Letting release anything that's no longer serving you. Aligning you to your highest self, your highest self. Not mine, not anybody else's, yours. And allowing the divine higher will to come in and to begin guiding you. Begin the dance of wills. Lower will and upper will, higher will, dancing. They dance for a while together before it really weaves in fully, and that's okay. We're coming up on an hour. We're going to keep it to an hour today. I thank you all for spending time with me in your busy day. For without you, I have no audience. And it's you who pull the energy through. We're going to be doing this every Sunday, unless there's, some Sunday I'm not available, but I might pre-record it in that case. And I'll send it out. If you're not on my mailing list, go to my website, www.kentondavidbell.com. Join my mailing list there. I also have a virtual classroom that's free right now. And it's on what's called the school platform. And that is Soul Food and Fuel for Life. You can also, on my webpage, you'll see it there right on the homepage at the top, right under the picture, my picture. And it's right there near the top. And I think that's it. I love you all. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I wish you all peace, love, harmony. Have an incredible, abundant week. And hopefully I'll see you and more next week. All right. Bye for now.